Shooting this year has been terrible, mainly due to numerous patches throughout the duration of NBA 2K17. One week we'll have a shooting patch that turns out to be butter, while the next we'll have a shooting patch that turns out to be booty. And to be honest, this does not look good for NBA 2K18 because they just don't get shooting. 12 patches and a bunch of hot fixes and updates later going into May of 2017, and shooting is still being addressed, when the answer to all of this is simple. Archetypes gotta go. The archetype system this year has birthed many issues and problems and broken unsolved game mechanics in 2K17. All the time I hear things like, why can this archetype do this and why can't this archetype do that? Why can glass cleaners hit trays and why can sharps boost out of dribbling animations similar to playmaker point guards? Some like archetypes while others hate them, and at times, I'm torn between the two. One day, I'll like the idea of archetypes because it forces us to play a role on court. And let's not forget that 2K17 was built to be a sports RPG, and I'm a fan of RPGs, so I can dig it. But the next day, I can see someone on the park stepping outside of their given roles, stepping outside of what they're supposed to do on court due to 2K's broken archetype system. And then at that point, I could really care less for archetypes and 2K17 in general. But let's break this down. What exactly is wrong with 2K and why can't the 2K dev team get this right? Why is it taking months to produce a game with some sort of stability, which they still haven't, might I add? But again, let's break it down, let's go through it. So it starts with the archetype system, as I've said before, because it was built with one intention, but produced another, such as non-shooting archetypes being able to shoot, and at times, shooting archetypes not being able to hit consistently. Now recently, Mike Wang over at 2K dev team actually sent out a fix for shooting with the promise that stats actually mattered on court, but that was bogus, and he actually pulled back on that update and sent out another one. And this update made it easier for everyone to get those greens once again, but let's be serious. We've been spoiled with greens at times. We depend on them a lot with the mentality of, if I get a green, it should go in all the time. But these shooting updates, in my eyes, are giving us a preview of what the 2K devs actually have planned for us come 2K18. And it's evident. They want to change the game drastically, and they want to get rid of that green light consistency starting now, just to warm us up to 2K18, their next title. Now let's not get it twisted. I like the effort by 2K, just not the results. I applaud them for trying, but not for listening to us, the core group of 2K gamers that understand the game and understand what needs to be changed, because the simple fix is to actually make stats matter, as he said, but 2K's system is too broken to adapt this aspect, hence the multiple patches. But if 2K wanted to listen to the majority, the consensus would be to nerf non-shooting archetypes so they can't bang, and leave shooting types or possibly buff them, but again, 2K's system is too broken to adopt this aspect. But let me know in the comment section below how you would fix 2K's shooting system, and try not to think for just one archetype. Think about the game as a whole in relation to greens, whites, stats, possibly other archetypes, and etc. But shooting is such a major issue right now, and it won't be fixed in 2K17 to be honest, and it looks really bad for 2K18. Now outside of shooting issues, you can pick your poison with problems with 2K, like the initial launch patches, the shot creators and slashes that never made them the same. Tisk, 2K. You just took so much away from those classes. And now that I think about it, slashers, they used to be beasts. They used to catch bodies on the reg. And back then, none of their badges were broken and nerfed, and they would just jam on you at will if you were too low in the paint. It was actually pretty exciting to watch, to be honest. But now, not so much. I mean, they still catch bodies, but nothing compared to before. And even sharpshooters, they got a major nerf since launch. I remember when they used to hit contested threes at a high rate. It was actually pretty dope too, but extremely high rate, unrealistic high rate. Now, contested threes and just middies don't fall as often. And those shot creators hitting moving shots at a dangerous rate, and even the dribble cancels, the speed boosting you could say, was crazy with that build also. Their branches and launches were crazy, but they stripped them of a lot. But this is what 2K has become, a series of updates, patches, and fixes that the community has just complained about day in and day out and not adopted. But what if 2K just threw out these patches just to say, here you go, that's it, and then they just went ghost on us? We would have no choice to adapt, correct? But is that healthy? Or should they really just be listening to everybody as a whole via these Twitter polls? But what's the best way to go for 2K? Back to sim, or just continue down their arcadey-like route? Because they have truly stepped away from their roots gameplay-wise. 2K has changed a lot since September, even 2K16, 15, 14. It's evolving every time the game comes out. But the question I have for you is, how can 2K be great again?